This is not a test. This is not a test. This is an alert from your emergency broadcast system. Please stand by for a message from the Bureau of Disease Control. Please stand by for an emergency alert. This is not a test. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, where the hell are we? The b.hive. That's where we're at. b.hive Productions Horror Humpdays here on a Wednesday. On a beautiful Wednesday. It's a beautiful, blustery Wednesday. Anyhow, tonight we are going to be reading chapter 3 from the my book, Sleepwalker, which is somewhere over here. Here we go. Sleepwalker. It's a horror anthology, and we are following the exploits of BroadMeadow and ate chili recently, huh? Hey, Shannon. Hey, Jason. Hello, Kevin. So, we're following their exploits. Basically, we're following Bo. He fell asleep and fell through a thin spot in the Wendigo Woods while they were deer hunting up in northern Minnesota. When we last were hanging out with them, they, hey, Beth. When we were last hanging out with them, they were dealing with the Wendigo, which had pretty much started taking over the whole town and his best friend. And Bo locked himself in a bathroom shower at the hotel. And hey, Bobby, good to see you, man. And he was just kind of staving off the possessed Wendigo people in town. Xena heard the alert. Great. So anyhow, so now he's going to be waking up into a new reality, and this one, if you haven't guessed it, is in a pandemic. And so without any further ado, let's head back into Sleepwalker, chapter 3. Pandemic. Hey, Jessica. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. If I can find the book, huh? There it is. Alrighty. Everybody ready? Is everybody in? All right. Pandemic. Bo's eyes flipped open. He scanned the area of the bathroom. The lights above the sink were on. It was quiet. Only a slight trickle from the shower next to him, hitting the small puddle gathered beneath near the drain. He got up, stumbled, as he felt a bit of vertigo, maybe from standing up too fast, and then shuffled his way to the sink. He ran cold water over his hands and then cupped some in his hands and brought it to his face. It woke him up and cleared his thoughts. The fuck happened? He thought to himself. He stared into the mirror at his bloodshot eyes. He turned slowly towards the door, then made his way to it. The deadbolt was still in place. Carefully, he placed his ear to the door to listen. Bang! 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 Bo nearly pissed his pants again. Jesus! He thought to himself. They're still out there! Fuck BroadMeadow! A familiar voice shouted from the other side of the door. Did you fall in or what? It was Will's voice, but he didn't sound panicked. He sounded like his own ball-breaking, sarcastic self. Will? Bo called back. You better not have deuced in there. Becca just cleaned it. Bo ran his hand through his beard. He was confused, and he began forgetting details of the night before. He put his ear up to the door again, and he could hear the TV set playing some MMA match. There were other voices, too, other men, reacting to the bout happening on the television. With a careful hand, he unlatched the door. The smell of chili hit him in the face with a delicious breeze. Several hunters were eating and watching the television. One of the tables, Will was seated with his friend Jeff. He ran to the table. "Jeff!" he shouted, so loud that everyone in the room got quiet and looked at him. Hey, Jeff said nonchalantly, looking up from his bowl of chili. Soon his mind began to cloud up, like the fog at the hunting spot. "You okay, man?" Jeff asked, concerned. I think so. "Chili a little too much for your guts?" Will asked with a big grin. "I guess," Bo said, unsure. "Well, have another beer, man. I won't tell Becca you sprayed the chili in her freshly cleaned porcelain." "Thanks." "It's too bad you guys didn't get a deer today. I thought for sure with all that sign out there, you would have gotten something." Without anything to say, Bo stayed quiet and greedily slammed his beer. "Oh, well," Jeff said. "I just like being out in the woods. Maybe we'll get one tomorrow." Bo thought about going back out in those woods again and shivered. "You guys want to use my deer stands, you're more than welcome to," Will offered. "Bo, you want to use the deer stands?" Jeff asked his friend. "I don't know. Maybe," Bo answered, uncertain. "Hey guys," Will interrupted. "Shut up a second." The television emitted a loud chime, one that Bo had never heard before, and then words came across the screen in place of the MMA fight. "Attention, this is not a test. This is a message from the National Emergency Broadcast System. This is not a test. Please stand by." The screen was then replaced by a man in glasses standing in front of a podium. The letters BDC surrounded the words Bureau of Disease Control. Something about those words didn't sit right with Bo. "We interrupt your program with an important message from the Bureau of Disease Control," the man said. "I give you Dr. Sophie Grouper." A short blonde woman with thin glasses and a lab coat takes the podium. She shuffles through some paperwork and then attempts to talk into the microphone, and it whistles feedback at her. Someone off camera adjusts the sound equipment, and she tries again. "Good evening. I'm here to report to you tonight that there has been an outbreak of a strange new virus that is overwhelming medical facilities in Vietnam. The virus is spreading at an alarming rate that we, along with other health authorities, cannot contain. We are still trying to find patient zero, but we have narrowed down Hanoi province to be the epicenter of where this virus started. We have teams working today and night trying to examine this virus to work on a vaccine. Unfortunately, most of the team has been infected and are in ICU, even with protective suits on." "Good evening, Chuck. Thanks for bringing the badgers." "We have asked world leaders to stop all incoming and outgoing international travel until we can contain this virus. It's an aggressive virus that attacks its host and concentrates on the respiratory system. Symptoms include hemorrhagic fever, causing internal bleeding, raspy coughing without producing any sputum, achiness in the joints, blood in stools, and in the final stages it produces what looks like a type of fungus that we have not been able to identify. We're asking you, the people of the world, to quarantine yourself in your homes. Your local government should be guiding you on protocols until we have this virus under control. There are no cases found outside of Vietnam, but as a precautionary measure, we ask that you think ahead. Gather enough food and water in your homes to last a month. Keep all travel outside of most... Okay, where am I? Outside of your homes to gathering supplies and medical appointments. We will be working with your governments with health protocols as we create them. This is a pandemic emergency, And we ask all governments, including our own here in the United States, to please follow these measures to stop the spread of this virus. Thank you. The screen goes to the NEBS screen again, and then switches back to the MMA fight that was previously on. Bureau, Bo said to himself. That doesn't sound right. Shouldn't it be department or centers? Something like that? Just not bureau. Here we go again with another scare, Will says to no one in particular. Fucking government, I swear. Always coming up with something to scare us with to give up our freedoms. Amen, one of the hunters said. Jeff noticed Bo looked uneasy. You all right? Jeff asked. What? Bo said, looking up, disorientated. Yeah, I guess. At that moment, a special bulletin came up on the screen. Some of the hunters groaned. Jesus fucking Christ, Will spat. I fucking paid good money for this pay-per-view match, and the government keeps interrupting it. The president was sitting at his desk. He looked calm and collected. His hair was slicked back with pomade, and his pinstripe suit looked like it was stretched to its limits. My fellow Americans, he began, in light of the previous message from the BDC, we will be asking your local governments to fall in line with the following guidelines to prepare for this virus. On the federal level, we will be shutting down all air travel in and out of the United States and keeping domestic flights as scheduled. All visitors to the U.S. will be sent home effective immediately. I told my people I don't want any foreigners in my country by the end of next week. I don't think this is something our great country should be too worried about. It's in Vietnam, and we all know what happened last time Vietnam tried to mess with us. Ha ha. The president gives the camera a wink. I will keep these restrictions on air travel for 1 month with no exceptions, he continued. Then we will be going back to normal life after that. I'm sure this is nothing more than a common cold or a new type of flu, and we'll be back in business in no time. Again, your local governments will come up with suggested, and I use that term lightly, suggested guidelines to prevent the spread of this Victor Charlie virus. Thank you, and may God bless the United States. The MMA fight returns to the end of the main event. A victor has been announced, and the hunters are all angry because they never got to view the fight. Well, son of a bitch, Will says, again to no one in particular. Looks like the president owes me a pay-per-view event. Bo looked around the table. Did he really just call it the Victor Charlie virus? Suddenly, the warning sirens came on in town, whirring out their ominous tone throughout the town and the outskirts. What the fuck is that? Will says, getting up. Everyone got up and walked outside and looked at the sky. Is it a tornado? Becca asked, coming out of the office. It's November, Becca, Will says. Have you ever heard of tornadoes in November here in Minnesota? Check that out, Bo says, pointing at military trucks coming in convoy style from the south. Must be from Fort Ripley, Jeff says. What the fuck is this? Will says as an army truck pulls into the lot of his hotel. The truck comes to a stop in front of the crowd, and a young man, maybe 24, steps out of the vehicle with a stern look on his face. Folks, my name is Sergeant Sims of the United States Army Reserve. The governor of Minnesota has declared martial law to start in the next 48 hours. What this means to you is this. We will be taking over the supply of food at the local grocery and dispersing it to each and every family. This way, food can be rationed out accordingly, and will also prevent hoarding of certain grocery items. We will also be handing out medications to any who can provide proof of prescriptions. When the hell is this starting? Will asked with a hint of anger. 48 hours from now, sir, Sergeant Sims says. I realize that most of you here are not from this area, as it's opener deer season. We urge you to pack up your gear and head to whatever your regular homes are. That is all. Thank you. And with that, Sergeant Sims hops back into his truck, leaving a bunch of angry hunters. You gonna let them shut down deer hunting like that, Will? A hunter asks, a clearly pissed off Will. This is just fucked, Will says. I'll call the mayor and see what's going on. Will, Jeff says, grabbing his arm. What's up? I've got some shit to do. If the governor's declared martial law, then the mayor isn't going to be able to do shit. You don't think so? Nope. They're setting up sentries at the grocery store, and I noticed one setting up at the C-store. Well, then what do you suggest we do? Bo, come here. Bo hunkers with his two friends. I need you to go and get my family and grab whoever else you want to and come back up here. What? Bo asked. Why? What are we going to do up here? I think we'd be better off in the cities than up here. Remember all those talks about doomsday and shit hitting the fan? Yeah. They did, sometimes till all hours of the night. They talked about what they would do in case society went off their rockers. And suddenly, all that talk was now coming true. Okay, this is it. Grab Shelly and the boys, and whoever you want to bring up with you. Grab as much food and water you can haul. I'm thinking maybe you should take your truck and Shelly's SUV. Tell her to load the trailer and come up here, okay? What are you going to do? I'm going to get the cabin ready, fortify it. Get the Jenny sorted and some other things I've prepared. Jesus, Jeff, Will said. Think you might be blowing this a little out of proportion. Don't you think? I mean, the virus isn't even here yet. Better to be safe than sorry, Jeff said. The cabin is deep in the woods and I've got a creek running right past it. Will, if you and your family want to come out, bring everything you can. I think I'll be okay here, buddy, but thanks. Well, if things go south here, you know where I am. The trio of friends split up. There was a ton of traffic heading south into the Twin Cities as hunters were heading back to their families. Military vehicles were heading north. Bo's adrenaline was pumping through him, and he had forgotten about how tonight's broadcast didn't sit right with him. Something was off, or just not quite right. Sometimes we slip into their reality. He didn't know where that thought came from. A dream, possibly. He had other matters to attend to. He dialed Shelley, Jeff's wife, on the Bluetooth. Bo? Came her voice over the truck speakers. Shelley, have you spoken with Jeff yet? I just got off the phone with him. What's going on? Things are getting kind of sketchy. Think he wants us all to be safe. I saw on the news, but I didn't think the virus was here yet, so why are we being so cautious? Has the military driven into town yet? What? I don't think so. Why? I imagine they're taking over the rural areas first, I guess. You're starting to scare me, Bo. What's really going on? A military convoy drove into Reamer tonight, and they're going to be taking over the distribution of food and water and medical supplies in 48 hours. Oh, shit. Nothing like that is happening here yet. Yeah, yet. Jeff wants you to pack yourself and the kids up. He said to bring the trailer. I'll grab what I need to and meet you at your place, and we can drive up together. If I can get through this fucking traffic. Why don't you pack up everything and we'll meet you in, say, Brainerd? Brainerd was a bigger city and about an hour south of the cabin. Sounds good. It'll take me about 4 or 5 hours to get all my things and make it back up this way. Okay, well, stay in touch in case something happens. I will. Be safe, Shelley. You too. You too, Bo. Bye. What would normally take 3 hours to get home was taking him even longer with traffic. He took off on some back roads to the small town of Siren where he lived. The cell signal wasn't always strong on these back roads, but he tried to call his ex-wife. "Why are you calling?" came his ex-wife's voice. "Well, it ain't to get you back, Miss Friendly." "Seriously, Bo, you know how Scott gets when you call me. So this better be about the kids or I'm hanging up." Fuck, Leah. Can you just stop being bitchy for just a minute? Have you watched the news? Yeah, I have. So? So? The fact that there's a pandemic on the way doesn't scare you at all? You're a nurse, for fuck's sakes. It's in Vietnam, Bo. Why would I be worried? Well, our wonderful governor has just declared martial law, albeit on the down low. What? Oh, Jesus Christ, Bo. Is this another one of your conspiracy theories bullshit? I've still got canned beans and 100 water jugs in the basement from your bullshit with the Mayan calendar scare back when we were married. Bo wanted to smash his cell phone into the dash. He let out a big sigh and then spoke again. Look, Leah, I'm driving home from Reamer. The military's just announced that it will be taking over that town in 48 hours. And doing the same, I imagine, in bigger cities once they have the smaller towns under control. Bo, if there was something like that, they would have told me and the rest of the staff at the hospital. I think you and your prepper nutcase friends need to chill the fuck out and take the blue pill. Look, I'm going to be holing up with Jeff Eastman and his family for a while. I wanted to invite you, Scott, and the kids up, too. Just till things blow over. Leave the kids out of your little fantasy world, Bo. You're lucky I let you see the kids at all. I only allow it because they love you so goddamn much. Fuck, Leah. Just, can you put one of them on the phone at least? Fine. But not one word of this theory of yours, you got me? Libby gets anxiety bad enough without your... The line goes out. Signal lost. Message 328. Velocity cellular. Came the robot's voice. Fuck! Bo yells out and tries to dial again. We're sorry. All lines are busy. Thank you for choosing Velocity Cellular. Bo let out another futile curse and drove silently for another 45 minutes to the small Minnesota town of Siren. Siren, though small, was home to Sunshine Harvest Ethanol Plant and Midwest Dairy, two of the largest employers in the area. Bo was living on his cop pension. He bartended part-time at one of his two local bars called the Dirty Hole. It was a dive bar in every sense, but its patrons were some of the nicest the town had to offer. Mostly blue-collar folks. The other tavern, Mikey's Sports Bar, was more for the rich farm boys and their trophy wives. He drove past the Senex store and turned right down onto the main drag. There were military personnel setting up tents at the grocery store. He took another right and into the back alley to the security garage of the Siren PD. There was a Humvee parked next to Chief Gina Nelson's squad. A soldier was standing at the staff door to the PD. Private meeting, sir, the soldier said. If this is an emergency, you can dial 911. Bo wanted to smack the glasses off the soldier's face, but thought better of it. Instead, he dug out his wallet and produced his badge and police ID. The soldier looked at his credentials with a mini mag light and then opened the door for him. Gina was sitting at her desk with another soldier. They both stopped talking and looked up. Sergeant Gale, this is one of my part-time officers, Bo BroadMeadow. Gina says, while Bo put out a resistant hand. "BroadMeadow," the sergeant pumps his hand. "Are you native?" "Yes, sir," Bo says. "Ojibwe." "Yeah, my sister married a native from the Mdewakanton Nation." "Well, they're Lakota, Sergeant." Gina looks nervous. "Shouldn't you be out in the North Woods shooting Bambi?" "Yep," Bo answered. "Just grabbing some things out of my locker. Everything okay?" "Well," Sergeant Gale says, "we may be calling you out of the woods." "What?" "No, I'm just a part-timer. Plenty of full-time officers on the roster. And it looks like you got plenty of soldiers here, too." "9 of them, actually. You see, the governor asked us to set up these stations around Minnesota to keep control of the food and water supply and medical." "We shouldn't need your help," Gina chimes in. "I'm sure our full-timers can handle whatever the need is." "Doesn't the governor think we can do our own grocery shopping?" Bo says with some sarcasm. Gale smiles slightly. "No, he does not. Nor do I. Society, it seems, likes to hoard supplies and food when it tends to panic. So, because society cannot parent itself, well, that's where we come in. And according to your cute little chief of police here, she's willing to let us have jurisdiction for a while." "Is that right?" Bo looks at Gina, and she only nods nervously. "Well, good luck with that," Bo says casually. "Most people in this town don't take kindly to people from out of town telling them what to do, especially their own government." "Well, that ain't very patriotic, is it?" Sergeant Gale said coldly. "Anyhow, I gave my sweat and blood to law enforcement for 25 years to the Black Earth Reservation. I'm only working here as a favor to Gina." "Where did you say you were hunting?" Gale asked. "I didn't. Now, if you'll excuse me." "Nice to meet you, Sergeant Gale." Bo went to his locker and pulled out his duty duffel. He grabbed 6 boxes of ammo for his .45, another 5 boxes of shells for his shotgun, and 3 boxes for his .308. He put them in his duffel bag, zipped it closed, and snapped the tiny padlock he had on it. He exited out the security door on the other side of the building and got into his truck and headed for the dirty hole. The bar was filled with people he knew. Some he arrested, some he lived by, some he fished with down at Dam Number 4. They were either playing pool or throwing darts. Some were just sitting belly up at the bar. The jukebox, as always, blared outlaw country songs. "Red Man!" a good chunk of the patrons shouted. That was their nickname for their resident Indian. Saul Pimstein, the bar owner, stood near the end of the bar with a Southern Comfort in one hand and a pool cue in the other. "What's up, brother?" he greeted Bo. "Hey, Saul," Bo said, sitting next to him. Jill, the night bartender, slides a Jack and Coke next to him on a coaster. "Shouldn't you be hunting right now?" Saul asked. "Yep," Bo answered. "I just stopped in to let you in on a few things." "What up?" "Minnesota's going on lockdown in 48 hours. "What? Because of this virus thingy?" "Yep. There's already a military presence here in town. Imagine tomorrow they're going to be here to shut you down as well as the other non-essential businesses." "Dude, get the fuck out of here. Serious as a heart attack. Just stopped up at the PD a few minutes ago. After you close tonight, take all your inventory and get the fuck out of Dodge. You got a place?" "Yeah, I got a cabin up in Mille Lacs." "Fucking go then. Grab the wife and kid and beat it." He holds out his hand to Bo. Bo takes it and pulls Saul in for a hug. "Take care, brother," Bo whispers. "Hope we see each other soon." He walks over to the ATM and withdraws $2,500 in cash. He orders a case of proper 12 Irish whiskey and heads to his house. He backs his truck up to the back door and opens the gate of his pickup. He walks into his kitchen and begins filling garbage bags with food. With that loaded in his truck, he fills several empty 1-gallon containers with water. He turns on the television and then goes into his bedroom to start packing his clothes. With breaking news from our affiliate in Chicago, says a news anchor. Thanks, Hank, the reporter in Chicago chimes in. I'm in front of the Rush University Hospital where sources say that someone with symptoms of the new Vietnam virus is seeking medical attention. Our sources say the patient is from the Arlington Heights area, but we have yet to confirm this information. Hang on. There's a helicopter coming to the landing pad here, and it doesn't seem to have the medevac markings on it. It looks to be from the BDC. Bo walks over to the television set and spots several military vehicles pulling into the hospital lot. Army personnel seems to be pulling in as well, the reporter continues. The camera turns back to the reporter at the news station in Minneapolis. This just came in, he says with a worried look on his face. There are also cases of this new virus reported in Miami, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. There's no doubt that this strain has made its way here to the United States then, Hank, the Chicago reporter says. I can see now the military is setting up a perimeter around the hospital as we speak. A worrisome sight indeed. Back to you, Hank. Fuck it, Bo says, and takes the 2 garbage bags full of clothes and throws them into the back of his truck. He locks the gate and starts his truck. Just before he puts the truck into drive, he remembers something. Shit! Bo runs into the house and grabs his black cat, Biko, named after the civil rights leader. He meows at him in protest as he stuffs him into his cat carrier. As he hits the highway heading north to Brainerd, he dials his ex again. We're sorry. All lines are busy. Please hang up and try your call later. Thank you for using Velocity Cellular. Fuck it, he says and turns on his radio. As he made it past Hutchinson, a call from Shelley Eastman came through. Hey, Shelley, Bo said. Bo? She sounded relieved. We're on the road, just about to St. Cloud. Great. If you want to wait, maybe we can pick a place to meet up. I think we should ride up together. Getting out of the Twin Cities was a little difficult. Thankfully, I knew some back roads to get to where we're at now. Oh, shit. Okay, why don't we meet up in Little Falls? I know a back route up to the cabin. Sounds good. The kids are hungry, so why don't we meet up at Madonna's? At where? McDonald's. Golden Arches, over 60 billion served. I know where you're talking about, but isn't it called McPherson's or no, McMillan's? Shelley laughed. Call it whatever you want, Bo. We'll be there getting our McNuggets on. Okay. Should be there in about a half hour. McDonald's? He thought to himself. Now that definitely isn't right. Is it? Maybe I just heard her wrong. A half hour later, and pulling into the lot, he saw a sign. Large golden arches surrounding a red sign with white lettering that said, McDonald's famous hamburgers, over 60 billion served. His attention was then taken to the ambulance with its lights flashing, backed up to the door of the restaurant. Shit, he said to himself out loud. I hope it's not Shelley or the kids. He could see her SUV parked to the side with an enclosed trailer behind it, but no Shelley and no Aaron or Artie. He parked next to them and got out. He moved cautiously towards the ambulance and saw paramedics dressed in hazmat suits. They were carrying a black body bag out with them. Stay where you are, sir, a police officer said to him. The cop was wearing a face mask and gloves. This restaurant is now under quarantine. Bo looked up and saw Shelley at the window with her two boys. She looked frightened, as well as their youngest, Artie. Fuck, Bo said and dialed Jeff. We're sorry. Your call cannot be connected at this time. Please try again. Call connected. Bo, where you at? It was Jeff's voice. The connection was spotty. I'm at the McDonald's in Little Falls, Bo said. But I don't have good news. What do you mean? Are Shelley and the boys there? Yeah, they're here, but... Fuck, man. The ambulance is here pulling a dead body out of the restaurant. It's not good. I think it's the virus. They quarantined the restaurant and Shelley and the boys are inside. Son of a bitch, Jeff said, more to himself than to Bo. Let me try and talk to someone and find out the entire story, and I'll call you back. Oh, okay, man. Do you think I need to come down there? And do what? I mean, the cops got this place nailed down pretty good. Let me find out what's happening, and I'll ring you back. Okay. Bo pulled out his wallet and walked up to one of the officers, pulling yellow tape to section off a 20-foot radius of the restaurant. Officer, Bo says while opening his wallet to show his badge. Officer. The cop finished up and then walked over. Place is quarantined, buddy, the cop said. No one's allowed in or out. Yeah, I understand that, sir, but my friend and her kids are in there. We're traveling together. The cop looks at his badge and ID. Siren PD, huh? Where's that? Yeah, it's just south of Hutchinson. Look, Officer BroadMeadow, I've got strict orders from the military and the BDC to keep everyone away from this area and quarantine everyone inside. I'd pay you an officer courtesy, but shit's getting deep everywhere. Can you at least tell me what happened? Guy came in covered in, I don't know, it looked like gray moss. He was coughing all over everyone. Wasn't wearing any PPE, and then when the manager asked him to leave, well, he fell dead. How long will those people be quarantined inside? I couldn't tell you. Some Army units are on the way with BDC personnel to assess the situation. Fuck. My sentiments exactly. You really shouldn't be traveling at a time like this. Well, to be honest, we're trying to get out of the largely populated areas until this thing blows over. Well, I'm sorry, BroadMeadow. That's all I can tell you. Doesn't look like I'll be able to let you in or let them out until the BDC takes a look at everyone. Thanks, officer. Bo walks over to his truck and tries to call Shelley. Bo? She answers on the first ring. Jesus, Bo says, happy that the phone went through. Shelley, how are you guys doing? We're a little freaked out right now. What did the cops say? He said you're all in quarantine until the BDC gets in to look at you and the situation. God damn it. We're just an hour away from the cabin. I know. What happened in there? We were ordering food and then this guy comes stumbling in. He was covered in this colorless grass or moss-like substance. It looked like it was growing right out of his skin. He was coughing all over everything and everyone, and people were complaining, and then the manager came out to ask him to leave. And then the man just let out a long, wet gasp and fell on the floor and died. It was horrible. I hope to God you guys didn't get anything from him. Well, we had our mask on, so I think we're safe. Bo thought about how the BDC director mentioned that PPE didn't seem to help. Well, you guys hang tight in there. I'm going to call Jeff and let him know what's happening. Okay. Bo? Yeah? Please don't leave. I'll stay as long as I can. Thank you. No worries. I'll talk soon. Jeff picked up the line on the first ring. Bo imagined he was pacing the floor like he does when he's anxious, breathing heavy through his nose. Jeff didn't show much emotion. It came out in other ways. What's the situation? He asked. Everyone inside is quarantined. We're waiting on the BDC to... Hang on. 2 military Humvees pull in with an SUV marked with the BDC logo on the side doors, comes pulling into the lot. What's going on? BDC just arrived. I believe they're going to test everyone inside and make sure the virus hasn't spread to everyone. Are they setting up any tents? No, I don't think so. Something doesn't seem right. Some soldiers coming out of the trucks. They're wearing hazmat suits. Oh, God, no. What's wrong, Jeff? Bo could see the police officer he was talking to getting upset with the BDC official and the soldiers. A couple of other cops are getting involved too. Suddenly, one of the soldiers shoots through the windshield of the ambulance that was housing the infected man. Holy shit, Bo said out loud. What's going on? Jeff asked. Bo, what are they doing? Fuck, Jeff. They just shot up the ambulance crew. The soldiers then opened fire on the police officers, and Bo knew that Shelley and the people inside were going to be next. He reached behind his seat and grabbed his other magazines for his .45 Taurus. He made sure he chambered around and then opened the truck door. He popped the soldier that fired first at the ambulance and then cut down a couple more. They returned fire and hit the hood of his truck. He ducked down and shot another couple of rounds into more of the soldiers. He noticed they hadn't returned fire, so he peeked over the bed of his truck and saw that the soldiers who were outside were dead. Inside there were more, and they were opening fire. Shelley! Bo screamed from the truck. Shelley had cradled both their boys in her arms, turning her back to the gunfire. Bo saw the first few shots rip into her shoulders, and he jumped into his truck and started it. Jeff, you still there? He says into his phone. What's going on? Bo was trying not to cry. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so fucking sorry. Bo? They killed them. Shelley and the boys, they're dead. Jeff, I'm so fucking sorry. They fucking killed everyone. Bo, get the fuck out of there. His eyes were blinded with tears as he tried to maneuver the parking lot. Shots rang out near the truck, with one taking out his right side view mirror. He wiped the tears away and punched the gas until he hit gravel. He knew the township roads fairly well, and he was hoping to lose them in the country. Bo began to cough. It started out as a tickle in the back of his throat, and was now making its way into his lungs. He could feel it tighten on his bronchial. Oh no, he said quietly. What's the matter? Jeff asked across the Bluetooth. I think I'm infected. How can you be sure? I can't, but kind of creeping up on me fast. Probably just the excitement of everything that's been going on. I went through it the first time I was in battle in Panama. Okay. Don't die on me, brother. I'm gonna try. They following you? I don't know. Shit. 2 Humvees were tearing up the gravel after him, about a quarter-mile back. Bo changed his glance from the military to his own eyes in the rear view. His eyes were bloodshot and watery. After another fit of coughs, he noticed it was hard to recover his breathing. Talk to me, BroadMeadow, Jeff said. I got 2 on my 6, Bo answered. His voice was getting raspy. Are you okay? No. Bo switched his drive into 4-wheel and pulled a sharp right into a field approach and plowed his way into a cornfield. "It's awfully noisy over there." "Want me to pick some corn for you?" "What?" "I'm in a cornfield right now, trying to shake these guys. It's going to be noisy for a while." Bo could feel the virus creeping into his veins. His arms began to ache from his shoulders to his hands. He looked down and could see it taking root under his skin. His truck plowed through an opening in the corn, and his truck hit a berm, launching him upwards and into the front end of a combine that was making its innocent way home. The truck swung to the other side of the road and landed on its side in the ditch. "Bo!" Jeff shouted. "Bo, talk to me, man!" Bo let out several coughs. They were wet and heavy, but produced no sputum. The mossy-like substance was making its way through his mouth and nose and into his trachea. "I'm sorry, brother," Bo said, exhausted from trying to breathe. "Don't talk like that." "I'm on my side. If this virus don't get me, the military will. I'm fucked." "You're all I got left, man." "Jeff." "Yeah?" "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't save your family." "Don't." The phone cut off. Bo could hear the Humvees making their way through the cornfield towards him. He pulled out his pistol and made sure a round was still chambered. "We're sorry. All lines are down. Please hang up and try your call later. Thank you for using Velocity Cellular," was all Jeff heard on his end. A tear fell down Bo's cheek. "This can't be happening," he thought to himself. "This has got to be some bad fucking dream." "Farmer's dead," a voice said outside. "Put a bullet in him to make sure," another voice said. Bo heard 2 shots in succession. He could hear footfalls on the gravel road. "You think he's dead?" the first one said, motioning to Bo's overturned truck. "He will be," the other said. Before the 2 soldiers in hazmat suits could make it around the turned-over Ford truck, a loud bang rang out from the cab. And that, my friends, is the end of Chapter 3, Pandemic. So, I have to say, hang on a second. Ouch. Anywho, well, thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Next week, Bo will be heading back to the Old West, and he'll be meeting a familiar monster next week. You'll recognize this monster from one of the stories I read you about the Jumlin. So that is next week on Horror Hump Day. I haven't come up with a artist for next week's Tunes for Tuesday, but I'll probably have that by the end of the week. Anyhow, just to let you guys know what's been going on here at the b.hive. Since I've completed my last horror book, I decided to jump back on my novel, The Ballad of Broken Bird. And that one's been kind of a tough one. I'm kind of wrestling with some of the scenes in there, but I'll be working on that. Probably be working on that through the weekend since it's supposed to be so cold out. So I'm hoping my goal, I hate setting goals, but the goal should be I should have that book, at least I should have the manuscript finished, I want to say either by the end of the year or January or February. and then I can work on editing it myself and then sending it to somebody to edit. And hopefully next year, that book will see the light of day. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Shannon, damn, can't wait for the next chapter. Well, good. Yeah, I hope you. I hope you come back. It's This has been good, Jessica. I'm glad. Beth, the same. Thank you guys. You guys are very kind to me. I have always really liked telling stories, and I never ever thought I was going to start or become a writer at any time. But it just kind of happened, and I don't know. I talked about it in my author talk at the library and stuff, but I originally wanted to be a comic book writer and a comic book artist, doing superhero stories, and then I went from writing that stuff to kind of young adult angsty books a la S.E. Hinton, and then I got into horror, and here we are. So anyhow, thank you guys very much for joining. Thank you for inviting your friends to join the page. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome to the b.hive. Tuesdays I do Tunes for Tuesday, where we kind of feature an artist and I try really hard to play them. And on Wednesdays I read you short stories, short horror stories from my books I've written. So it's always good to sit and chat with you guys. If you've got other friends that are interested in horror, please invite them over. I can't wait to close my eyes. Woohoo, that might get nuts. If you guys got friends or family that are interested in horror, please invite them. I know Bobby messaged me this morning and said he invited over 1,000 of his friends to join the b.hive, which that's fan-frickin-tabulous. And I don't know, I'm trying to do things to make this a little more fun. It is already fun with you guys here, and I love reading you guys stories. So, and I kind of love playing songs for you guys too. So, so come back next week to Tunes for Tuesday. Come back for Horror Hump Days on Wednesday, and yeah, we'll have a good time. So I'll have the events posted on here. I guess there's a difference between liking this page and following this page. So whatever one that you do, if you could go on the page and like or follow it as well, that would be awesome. Also, please refer people you know to my YouTube page. It's YouTube/Bradley Bodeker, I believe. And head out there and check that out as well. That replays all the things that we have done. And there's some extra stuff on there that I don't have on this page for some reason. Still trying to figure out how I can put some of my play productions that I've starred in on here or to be viewable for you guys. In case you didn't catch any of the shows I've been in Shrek and Damn Yankees and a few others. So I'm gonna keep trying to look for that. I also still looking for software, still trying to figure out how to use this frickin' gadget. So evidently there's supposed to be some software or something with it. I don't know, technology, I'm doing my best here. So anyhow, you guys have a great night. Thank you again for everything, your support. Like, share, subscribe, all that other jazz. And have a peaceful night. Love ya. That's for Kevin and Bobby too. I heard Bobby likes the clap. All right, you guys. Have a good night, and thank you very much for joining me. Bye-bye.